What up? What up? What up, man? We here. We back with another episode of Talks with the Crew. We the dynamic duo tonight, as you'll see in just a second, man. Got me and my guy, and we got a special guest for y'all tonight. We got a special treat for y'all tonight. Uh, uh Former San Antonio standout who's a college athlete now, but we'll get to that in a minute. But of course, I got to bring on my co-host.
What's going on, people? Glad to be back. Took a little hiatus, a little family time. But we're glad to be back. Glad to be doing this again. As you can see, follow me at X or on X, excuse me, at Coach Matt.49 or Coach Matt 49. All the different socials, same handle. So holla at me.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Matt? How we doing, man? How we doing?
Good man. You know how the grind is right now, man. It's
Yeah, for
it's
sure, man. We both in the summer grind right now,
yeah.
and the guy we about to bring on
Yep.
definitely in the summer grind.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Came back home briefly for the break. I know he was getting it in. Matt, you met him with the interview. Coach Miller. I know we'll get into all that. Ricky been a day one man. He OG with fourth quarter pressure. Been down with Coach for some years, man. So without further ado, we introduce Mr. Ricky Gonzalez the second.
What's up, y'all? I'm Ricky Gonzalez from San Antonio. Played high school football at Brandeis San Antonio, just down the road. Obviously, like previously mentioned, I was the OG fourth quarter first team ever, and I'm currently a sophomore at Fordham University in New York, and I'm studying business, minor in finance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach Matt, what you got for him, man?
First of all, man, appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Appreciate you.
Anybody that Cam brings on, like I know this dude. I know he's gonna be legit. He's gonna be about his stuff. So happy to have you on. And what I really want to get at is, me and Cam, we've been around the game for a while. Cam played at that highest, the highest level you could get. So we know the grind and everything that goes into it, especially going from, that high school level to the next level.
Correct.
So, but a lot of people probably don't. So it's just for you and your personal experience, kind of explain and break down what that transition has looked like, over the past, year or two or whatever, and the difference in the training regimens and all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, I'll say it's obviously a lot different than high school. I say, really the biggest thing for me when I got up here was just the weight room. Like everyone in college is just so much stronger. Like high school, you'll have dudes benching like 225, 235, and you think that's strong in high school, and then you get to college, and this dudes that is like, 5'10", 180, and they're benching almost 300 pounds, squatting 400 pounds. Like everyone's just a lot stronger here. And then, I would say, as far as the schedule goes, it's college, so I kind of expected it. You know what I mean? It's a lot more. Every second of your day is kind of planned out for you, especially during the summer, fall camp. We're about to get in a fall camp. I mean, that's like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. But yeah, I mean, as far as the schedule goes, I would just say, you're an investment. So like, you're a six-figure investment. So they gotta make sure they get the most out of you. So they got you, eating the best you can, eating at the cab. They got time scheduled up for when you eat in, for when you lift in, for when you run in, study hall, all that. So
Right.
yeah.
So a lot of got to be very disciplined. You like you said with your schedule, how everything's mapped out. But I do like how you said that you're an investment. You know,
Oh,
uh,
for sure.
that's a good way to kind of look at it. A lot of people don't look
Yeah.
at it like that, but I like that. That's an interesting take.
Yeah, man. A lot of people get it misconstrued. They think when you sign that you automatically have a 4-year scholarship, and it's year to year.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
year to year contract, man. So, speaking of year to year, you just completed your freshman year. So, what was that like for you on the field? Was it more than what you thought? I know you kind of had a slower start, I guess, to camp from talking to Miller. So, just walk us
Yeah.
through that whole process and what was your mindset on going from being the guy in high school to now, I'm really having to. I'm a freshman all over again. I'm having to really go out and earn everything, knowing that
Right.
the next year they're trying to bring somebody in to replace me.
I mean, I think you said it perfectly. I mean, yeah, like high school, junior, senior year, being the guy, you go to college. I mean, last year I came in with a mentality like, what I'm saying, I don't care who played before me. I don't care. Like, I don't care how many yards they put up, I'm taking their spot. And that's a great mentality to come in with. But, you also got to learn that, you know, your freshman year for a lot of people is going to just be a lot of learning, a lot of there's a lot of aspects of the game that I really didn't know. And, I think my freshman year, even though like Coach Miller said, I had a pretty slow start. Ended up getting injured like week 2. I missed like 3 weeks, but it actually really did help me because just simple stuff like knowing coverages, knowing tendencies. I didn't know none of that in high school. I was just playing ball. Like, you know what I mean? Even plays like in high school, they was telling me what routes to run. They tell me to run a post, I run a post. Like
Yeah,
now in
yeah,
college, you really gotta see, especially our offense. Our offense is real like a lot of choice routes. So
Mm.
I've never done that before. So just having the conscious of mind to be like, all right, I'm out wide. He's at 5 yards. He turned butt to sidelines. Probably gonna be covered 2. Safety over. I never done that. So just stuff like that. Is probably what helped me the most during my freshman year. And now I feel like going to my sophomore year, along with the weight room and getting my speed up and all that stuff, I really feel like I'm ready to give it a good shot.
So you mentioned I don't know if you had anything, Matt, but
Go
so
ahead.
you mentioned choice routes and all that. So with it being unfamiliar to you, how much time do you actually spend, you know, with your position coach watching film, breaking down film? How much time do you spend on your own watching film, and how much time of that is board work to get you? Because that's a for any people that don't know, that is a huge transition to
Yeah.
really understand and learn, especially as a freshman, because everything's already a blur and
Okay.
everything's already moving so fast, right? Like you might run a 4.4, at all these camps as a senior in high school. You're still carrying that 4.4, but it looks like a 4.8 because you're thinking too much.
That's
So so
exactly.
so just talk to the people about how much time you really invested in the classroom, the board, and watching film.
I mean, like again, I think you said it perfectly. I had never really watched film before I got to college. Like obviously, game week I'd come and look at in high school. I would like go on huddle, look at like the top 4 coverages, and like I mean, it was
Mhm.
high school. Sometimes I'll turn on the film and be like, I'm not gonna have no problems this week. But you can't do that in college football. Like, you gotta study meticulously throughout the week, in your free time. We only get like a few hours a week of slotted time to study with our coaches. So our
Yeah.
things our coaches always told us is making sure you're studying before you go to bed, or making sure you're just watching them, at lunch or at breakfast or something like that. I mean, it was a big thing for me. Like I said, it was a big thing. Just learning the coverages and all that stuff really helped me like uh, you know turn that 4.8 back to a 4.4. Because when I first got there, I was really, especially like I said, choice routes. You kind of got to read the DB as you run in,
Right.
so that slowed me down crazy. I had never done that before. So I felt like I was moving super slow out there. But, it just takes time and reps, and a lot of reps with the quarterback, a lot of reps, just by yourself and just looking back at your mistakes and trying to fix them and stuff like that.
For
Good
sure, for
stuff.
sure.
Good stuff. I know you kind of alluded to it earlier with the schedule and how it's broken down almost second to second as far as things you have to do. Kind of give us and everybody else insight as far as the college aspect of it as well, like that balance between class, sports, football, personal life, all of that stuff. How do you handle that?
I would say, when I first got here, it was a little bit of adjustment. I will say our staff does a great job of making sure, like our mental health and all that stuff is
Yeah.
cool. So, obviously I was homesick when I got here for the first semester. Like as we all are, I was, it's a long way from Texas.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I was, but as far as college life and football and balancing it, you know, it's not super hard. Like a lot of dudes who you end up seeing end up failing out or getting in trouble and stuff like that. I always think like it's hard to do that because
Mhm.
you got to try to do that type of stuff because teachers, I mean, especially at Fordham, it's a small school. Teachers know who you are. They know you play football. They're gonna want to help you out. And all you got to really do is just put the effort in, and you'll be fine. So
Good
Yeah,
deal.
for sure, man. So I know you mentioned the weight room. How much weight you done put on since you been there?
12 pounds.
Ooh, cause you already a pretty solid kid, man. So I
That's
know
what I
it's
was saying. Yeah,
12 of muscle. So you sitting at about what, 95, 98, 198,
98,
195 ish? Yeah,
98.
something like that.
So,
Mm.
That's not bad at all, man. That's not bad at all. So talk to us a little bit about what's your personal goals for this upcoming season, man.
well, I mean, first off, I just want to get a lot more playing time I did last year. I had a good amount of playing time last year for a freshman, but uh, I just feel like I really want to be trusted more in key situations. Like, I think the coach did a good job of introducing me to games last year and kind of letting me do my thing. Sometimes they did put me in there in crucial situations, but not all of them. And obviously, I'm a ball player. And I want to be in those situations. I want the coaches to trust me. I want them to throw me the ball in those situations. So that's probably the first thing. I want to play a crucial part in us winning games. And then, obviously, I feel like I'm in a good spot this year. I feel like I got a great opportunity to do something, great. So all conference or anything like that would be great. But really, I mean, main goal, and I mean, it might sound corny, but main goal, we were 6-5 last year. We were supposed to win the league. Uh, we got to win the league this year. That's my main goal. Just win the league. So,
Yeah, for sure. You got something,
Mhm.
Matt?
Oh, nah, man, not really. It's kind of he's already hit the nail on the head as far as the things I had on my mind.
I got you.
Um,
I got you. So
so
my number one question for you, Mr. San Antonio, Texas boy, um, that adjustment with the weather. I know you said you were homesick. How did you adjust to that
Ooh,
weather?
that's a good one.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I got in the summer. So I actually left the day after graduation.
I
Um,
remember. I remember.
yeah, day
You
after
got it.
graduation.
You graduated. You and Miller had a 6 a.m. workout, and I
Mhm.
think you were gone by like 10.
Yep. Got here for summer camp. Weather was beautiful. 70s all month.
Well, it's
Then
summer,
I
bro.
got,
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to
I
be
know.
good.
I know, but I'm like, I was here and I was like, I don't know what everyone's talking about the weather. Like the weather here is great because I got back to San Antonio, it was like 105. I was
Yeah,
dying.
yeah, yeah.
And season was cool, but week 9, week 10,
Y'all don't have no indoor, huh? So y'all
Ooh,
practicing outside.
outside
So how did
every
you?
day.
So what did you do to prepare for that? Like, were y'all layered up, or what? How did y'all handle
Yeah,
that?
no, I was practicing it. I would wear shorts, my girdle, my pants, and sweats on top of that. And then I have like a tank top, a shirt. I'm a real Texas boy. Like I don't like the cold.
hey, I
Shirt,
feel you.
shirt, hoodie, maybe a long sleeve under. I was running like week 9 and 10.
Mhm.
You probably don't want to watch the film on that because I was moving real slow. I had like 10 extra pounds on me.
That boy
10
had
extra
one of
pounds.
that boy had one of them Cat Williams moments. You got to buy your
No,
coat from there for there.
no, I did. Nah, but hey, week 10 though, we went
Yeah.
to go play Colgate at Colgate. And that was the coldest game I ever played in my life. And I done played in some like my last game in high school, it was like 30 degrees, raining, 20-mile-an-hour winds,
Yeah,
like crazy.
Mhm.
But that game, it was like 2 degrees and 15-mile-an-hour wind. And the thing about us is, like, practice they'll let us do whatever, it's cool. But game days, offense can't wear sleeves because if you touch the ball, you can't
because
wear
of the ball.
sleeves.
Yeah, you got to feel the
Mhm.
ball. They want you to be able to feel the
So
ball.
Yeah.
I was out there and I was like, if I'm not gonna wear sleeves, I might as well like not wear nothing on my legs and just, you know what I'm saying, just thug it out. And
Mm.
I tell you, I did a drive, got in, did a drive, caught a ball, got hit, that hurt a lot.
Yeah,
Got hit,
them hits different.
oh, I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Got up, did a whole drive though. I'm warm. I get back on the sideline. We end up scoring. I get back on the sideline, about to kick off. Before we could even kick off, I couldn't feel my toes again. I couldn't feel my fingers. It was
Mm.
terrible. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
But
I think the coldest game I played in was 15 degrees at kickoff. We played at Eastern Kentucky,
Mm.
so it was like
that's crazy.
kind of like the mountains, kind of. So
Yeah,
down south. Well, I'm not even gonna say Kentucky's down south, but it's down south compared to where you are. But
yeah.
that southern cold different than that northern cold.
No, it is. It's more like sharp cold, like
Yeah,
real, like
could that wind
you know
get
what
the
I mean?
cutting, boy? Look,
Yeah.
man.
Mhm, mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
it's different, man. Because you used to cold and down here in Texas, man. Well, like, shoot. Sometimes in Christmas time, man, we still walk around in shorts and the polo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah, nah. It made
out
me
here
Hey,
appreciate
2 degrees.
Texas winters way more. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure,
yeah.
man.
Not gonna lie.
But,
Uh,
kind of going back off of that, what Cam said made me kind of think of it. So the weather, obviously, big adjustment, big difference. And I tend to ask people this when they go to different states, stuff like this, man. The food. What about the food? Because I know Texas and New York are completely different styles of food, man. So
Yeah.
what are you
boy,
missing the most while
he
you
missed
out there?
he missed them breakfast tacos. I already know. He missed
I
them
do.
breakfast tacos and that
I do.
barbecue. I already know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. Yeah.
So
I
then,
miss breakfast tacos, barbecue. First thing I
mm,
always get when I touch down is Whataburger because they don't got nothing up here.
mm,
Whataburger, man, it's just different. Like it's just
yeah, that's a
people up
solid
here don't
choice.
understand Whataburger. I try to explain it to them, they don't get it. We just got a Canes up here, and like this is how like
What you mean just got one?
we just got Canes up here. Just got
Wow.
one.
Well,
Just got one.
some
And look,
places that's a
and
staple in the South.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's not even like that good to me anymore. But
Yeah,
people will take the train. We're in the Bronx. People will take the train all the way to Manhattan, go to uh Times Square, my fault. Go to Times Square, walk another 20 minutes to go eat some canes.
No, not for no candy. No, I'm straight.
nah.
Not for no
Like,
candy.
but nah, yeah, the food up here, I mean, it's cool. The Italian food, best Italian food I ever had. And then obviously like we got some good Chinese food. You go to Chinatown, we got some good Chinese food.
What about the
But
pizza?
I mean, oh, pizza, great. Pizza is like Italian food, pasta, pizza, garlic knots,
Yeah.
best I ever had.
'Cause I
I get
hear
spoiled. I come back.
I hear mixed reviews. You know what I'm saying on the pizza. I took a trip. This was I'm a little older than you, player. So this was like Columbia. So I went up there in '05. So it was all right. No, it was all right. I ain't no big pizza either, nothing like that. But so
You gotta
so
hit
I
the
was
right spots. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. I tell
You
you
gotta hit
what.
the right spots.
Mhm.
So I had planned on I don't know Miller's situation. It's different now. But I had planned on going up there with him with this year with him to a game. So
Mhm.
we get out there worked out. I got to eat something good now. But
No, let me
while
know.
we stand on the weather, I know you are a big training guy, right? Like I know one thing about Ricky. Ricky want to train 4 or 5 days a week. Like he want to get some work in.
Mhm.
So in the off season, how do y'all manage that with the weather being the way it is and y'all not having an indoor?
Well, I mean, thankfully, like I'm blessed enough. I had Coach Miller had reached out to some people. They got an indoor, so usually I'm up at like Rutgers. They got an indoor. That's where I was at like a lot December, January, February when it was real cold. And then I mean our weight room is inside, so it's nothing crazy. But if I want to get like speed work or something, we got an indoor track, so that's how to get most of my running done, stuff like that. And then if I want to really get some footwork in and it's like snowing on the ground, then I got a car up here, so I'll just
Okay,
drive to
okay,
Rutgers and
okay.
then what I mean, get
I
in
got
there.
you.
So
I got
I
you.
done found a way. You know what I mean?
I got you. Matt, you got something?
Big. That's big. Um, man, so talk about that connection as far as like with Coach Miller and what kind of impact, even Coach Cam, like
You
knowing
beat me
those,
to it. You beat me to it.
yeah, knowing those guys. Because one of the things me and him been talking about is just the dynamic, the relationship between coaches and players, and you
Mhm.
know how coaches are supposed to be there for their players. So just kind of talk about that dynamic between you and those guys.
Well, I mean, starting off, Coach Cam. I mean, I known him for a couple years now. He's a
Mm,
great dude. Always check up on me. He done a lot of great stuff with fourth quarter. And you know what I'm saying, just having like guys when you going to work out, just to like keep your head straight, ask you how you doing, stuff like that. I mean, it's always good for me, and always having people check up on you just back home, just knowing like you're not forgotten back home or nothing like that.
right.
It's always good for me. So I always appreciate him. I appreciate him inviting me on the podcast. But with Coach Miller, man, I mean, it don't really got to be said. I feel like I've said this on at every interview I've been on. He took me started training me my freshman year. I was not very good,
Matt.
and you know what I mean. Just instilled that belief in me. He was the first guy to really show me that he really believed in me, and just took it off from there. I mean, he a firefighter, so he always worked overtime. He always wanted to get work in. Like I always want to get work in as much as I can. He was always with it, so we kind of gelled in that degree. And then, I mean, we just went on. It was really a journey. Went on a bunch of camps. He took me to so many camps.
Yeah.
But I love that dude, man. I wouldn't be, anywhere near where I am right now if it wasn't for him. He did help me in a major way,
Yeah.
and I'll always be grateful for it. So
For sure, man. For sure. Yeah, man. Like Matt was saying, we had a discussion yesterday about um relationships between players and coaches and how that's kind of soured in the world. And it's a lot of play. I'm not even gonna say a lot of players because both people are at fault. Um, it's always one or two coaches that will make the rest of us look bad because they're in it for the wrong reasons. But then at the end of the day, on the flip side, it's always one or two kids like yourself, um, like Drake that we had on earlier, who's upcoming freshman quarterback in Floresville this year, which you're real familiar with them. So it's always kids like that, man, that in your weakest moment when you feel like you're not doing enough or you're not reaching kids, that you get reminded that, hey, you doing what you're supposed to do. It just
Yeah.
sometimes they don't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they don't want to take heed to the advice you're giving them and all that, man. So, we just try to fourth quarter, man, which I can speak on Miller in the same way. Me and him had like a brother connection. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. That's my older brother. I talk about him all the time. He almost 40. That's my old head. So, but nah, man. Ricky was one of the stables
Mhm.
that helped set the foundation for fourth quarter pressure. Like he said, part of the first team, the first group. So this was actually before I came around. This was the
Yeah.
year before I came around. Um, so it's just good to see the growth in you, and I'm glad you were honest and mentioned how you look when you first started. Uh, always had the heart, always had the confidence, just never had the proper technique because, like we were talking yesterday, Matt,
Mhm.
in the San Antonio area, excuse me, coaches like to rock with who they rock with. Sometimes it's a lot of favoritism. Sometimes this kid might have the talent, he just need to be polished. But he's not on my radar right now because I have bigger goals in mind, and I got to ride this wave of the big names and the bigger kids to get to where I'm trying to get to. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But off of Coach Miller, man, who else do you have in your support system? I'm sure your family and all that, man. But how is that having your support system with you being so far away? And I know you mentioned you were homesick for a time. So what's that adjustment being like now that you have a year under your belt of being away? And you really know the ones that rock with you and who really has your back. So what's that dynamic look like?
I mean, I got a great support system. All the coaches, whether it be obviously my family, my mom, my dad, my little brother, my little sister, my girlfriend, and then obviously all the coaches, like you, Coach Miller, and my old high school coach, Coach Hushak, my track coach, Coach Kevin. Like they all check up on me. I just got a text from two of them yesterday, just seeing how I'm doing. I'll get calls like once a month, once every 2 months, just to check up on me. And when I was homesick, I would say like when I was homesick, they kind of hurt more than it helped because I was like, you know what I mean, like I was just really missing San Antonio. But I mean, I feel like you get to a point where you just kind of grow up and you kind of accept like this is what it is. I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a job, and I'm here to do the job.
Yeah, for sure, man. So
Yeah.
you mentioned the homesickness. Now, did the homesickness kick in while you were hurt, or was it?
Oh, for sure.
See that? Yeah, that's the worst when you sitting around and you can't do nothing. And I
Mhm.
was just like, man, I just want to be at the house, man. Like it's
Yep.
this trash, this terrible. So I get it. I understand. I had an injury myself, and I had to
Yeah,
sit there and watch my teammates for 8 weeks
yeah,
in the spring. So I get it. You got something
yeah. I
more
mean,
on
it
that?
was just like a.
Nah.
It was like, I mean, fall camp. You kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you too busy to be homesick, to be honest. So I was
Yeah.
kind of focused, but it's like you said, like when I was injured, it was like 3 weeks I was out. I mean, you go into practice, you go into meetings, but you're not. I mean, like you're not in the film they're reviewing. You're not in the game plan for that week. You kind of just there. So your mind gets to thinking like it'd be nice if I was at the crib right now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you know what I mean?
fact,
So,
fact. Hey, so when y'all starting camp exactly? What's the date? Fall camp when it start?
June or July 29th. We start in like 2 weeks.
Who y'all got first game?
Bowling Green.
Y'all playing a week 0?
I think it's a week 1, but it's like Thursday. It's weird.
Is
Hmm.
it the 29th, 31st,
29th, yeah.
29th, something like that?
August
Okay.
29th, yeah.
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 Okay. Y'all going to bowling. Y'all going to. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with
Sir.
that.
Sir.
That's Miller school.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about that. Okay. Hey, you know you
Mm-hmm.
gotta talk a little crazy to him now.
I
Hmm.
already had.
Yeah, you gotta keep it going.
Already had.
You gotta talk a little crazy to him, man. So
Hmm.
Gotta
who
do my thing.
use this opportunity to push out some of your teammates, man, who everybody should be paying close attention to this year, man. We're a growing podcast and just trying to get eyes. We down here in Texas, he in Mississippi. A lot of people haven't heard of Fordham and
Hmm.
Right.
Colgate and some of these other schools you mentioned. So just kind of give us some people to keep an eye out for this year.
Right. Well, I would say first off, I gotta look out for my quarterback, CJ Montez. He threw for I think like some crazy ratios, like 30 some touchdowns, 1 interception last year. So he's coming
Sheesh.
back this year. Yeah, no, he's due. He's coming back this year. About to be a senior. Um, and then obviously my running back, Julius Leverage, 2-time first team all conference. I think he went for a band both years that he's been starting. And then, uh, got our All American corner Niall Perkins. He's a dude too. About to be a 5th year. And then got two other receivers, Makai and Garrett. They're both graduates, but they're both dogs. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matt, you got something?
Man, just listening to you talk, listening to Cam talk about the way that you approach things. Honestly, man, not a question, but I'm excited to see the production that you're gonna have out there. I wish you, nothing but the best, a healthy season, especially since you have dealt with an injury. Healthy season and just excited to see what you're gonna do out on the field, man.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, so we got the Fordham Rams plugged in to the pod. You
So,
know what I'm saying? Hopefully this won't be the last time you grace us with your presence
Oh,
on the pod, man. Of course, we'll be tuning in. Um, Another big news: you are the first college athlete to grace this podcast with us.
nice. What's
mhm.
So
up?
we had to keep it personal with the home team, man. So
I appreciate that.
man, I know you got a lot going on. You might got some studying or something you got to get to, man. We appreciate you, taking a little time out your night and kicking it with us tonight, man.
No problem. I appreciate y'all inviting me on.
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you another time, big dog.
Yes, sir. All right.
Mm. Good kid, man. He's, like I said, excited to see what he's gonna do.
Yes, sir. Ricky nice now. Like
Yeah.
he a worker.
Yeah, I checked him out. I checked out his Twitter. He's nice. So
He nice, man. So man, but with further ado, I know we switched up the order tonight. What it is, man. Now we back on the regular scheduled programs, man. Let's step inside the
yes,
locker room with the Mizzou Tigers. Don't
yes.
ask me why they say Mizzou. I know it's Missouri, but they say Mizzou. First thing I'm gonna say before you take a deep dive into them,
Go ahead.
pause, is
No, did he?
last year Missouri caught a lot of people off guard and took the SEC by surprise. Not just the SEC, the country by surprise.
Yes.
Top 10 finish, beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, I believe it was.
Mhm.
Uh, man, so I know they had success last year. They returned a nice bit of that roster this year. Had some nice pieces picked up in the portal.
Hmm.
I know they're replacing some key defensive coaches. They lost a DC who's at
Yeah.
LSU. I think the DN's coach also went with them to LSU. A couple other support staff went.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, Missouri, man, the Missouri Tigers, they on deck, man. So let's backtrack and
Yeah.
discuss that
Yeah.
2023 team.
Yeah, man. So as you can see, 11-2 overall, 6-2 in SEC. Two losses coming to LSU, which was a home game, and then of course against Georgia as well. But the way they came out in both of those games, honestly, up until towards the end, it could have gone either way, But like you said, they really took the SEC and then just the college football, you know, scope and landscape by storm last year. I was definitely surprised personally. Wasn't expecting that kind of production out of Missouri. Um, they had a lot of great pieces, and like you said, like you alluded to, and we're going to touch base on that here in a minute. A lot of great pieces coming back, especially on that offensive side of the ball. Um, Last year, that like you said, DC, that's now at LSU. He had the defense hot. They had one of the best defenses in the SEC, arguably. So whether or not him leaving and the new guy that they've brought in, which everything I've read about him is, good notes or whatever. But like you said, that's a big chunk, big loss for them,
Yeah,
because we know how when a big time coach, whether it's a DC, OC, or a head coach, whenever they leave, there's always a shift. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. But last year, like I said, of course, he had the defense rolling. Offense was right there with him. Um, with Brady Cook and what's the running back? His name is leaving me. Is it, Schrader or
Schrader. Yep, Schrader. Was it
yeah,
like Matthew Schrader or something like that?
yeah, had a great season. Was able to help Cook in the fact that they had a good running game to balance out that passing game. So uh,
Cody Schrader. My bad. Cody
Cody,
Schrader.
Cody. Yeah, that I couldn't think of his name for nothing. But yeah, man, it was exciting to watch them last year, to be honest. The way they just kind of popped up on the scene like that.
Hey, yeah, they definitely just popped out of nowhere, man. Like we were saying earlier, man. They were fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. They were. I think they were so fun because you never knew what was gonna happen. Because I believe everybody was sitting there waiting on the downfall.
Yeah,
Like this is fool's gold kind of. It's
yeah,
too good to be true. Like they're gonna implode any second now. They're gonna implode any second now. And then they had one loss to LSU,
mhm,
but they were still in it for the East.
yeah,
Played Georgia tough, and I think that's when everybody really took notice. Like, okay, this Missouri team might be on to something, man.
yeah.
Like we were speaking about the coaching staff, head coach right
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, so Eli Drinkwitz, as you can see, it's going into his fifth year, 40-22 overall record, 28-21 at Missouri. And last year, 11-win season, which in the SEC, everybody will know it's not an easy beat. I mean, an easy bout to do.
Not at all.
That's very difficult, whether you're in the East or in the West. Um, so he did a great job last year. Again, he had a lot of defensive guys that left. Whether it's draft portal, whether it's coaching staff, but I do think he did a great job. This offseason, going out in the portal, finding talent to replace the running back, finding the guys to replace the defensive on the defensive side of the ball, linebackers, DBs, whatever it may be, and then even the new DC that he brought in. They apparently he's got a real aggressive style that the kids really like, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out this year.
Yeah, aggression ain't always good,
It is true.
but we'll see, man. But one thing they do have going for them on offense is they somehow were able to talk Brady Cook into coming back to school when he could have easily left. Not saying he would have been a top pick, but I believe he might have been one of the first seven. He
Yeah.
could have been um, in the top seven. threw for 33, 17 passing yards, 21 TDs, 6 interceptions.
Mhm.
Now a couple of those picks I remember were tip balls at the line of scrimmage. So yeah, that falls on the quarterback as a interception, but for the most part, he was pretty efficient. I think his QBR was like a 70 for the season, but it wasn't bad at all.
He was one
Wasn't
of the
bad at
top
all.
in the nation.
Yeah, he was one of the top, man. And then they returned one of the. I know you went with Brady Cook for a key returner,
Oh, I
but
was
he
I was getting there. I know where you going.
he
I,
returned one of the nation's leading receivers in Luther Burton the third, man.
yes.
Uh, he went for 1,200 yards.
Mm.
Um,
14 per catch.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yes. And
Nine
this
nine TDs.
Mhm.
So
and see, this is the wild thing when I look at this next year offensively. Brady Cook, he is set up for success. Right now, he's the only person that can really, bring about his downfall and the downfall of that offense. Because when you look at their top players that are returning, you take him out of the equation. But you look at the rest of their top players that are returning, almost all of them are going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Though I think it's like 4 different receivers, the new running back they brought in. So he's got a lot of weapons around him coming up this year. And especially with Luther Burden third, I expect he's going to have another breakout year or another standout year. So it'll be interesting to see how explosive they can be on that offensive side of the ball.
I mean, just listen at these offensive numbers last year, Matt.
Yeah.
Points per game, they averaged 32 points per game.
Mhm.
First downs, they had a total of 294 first downs last season. Um, Rushing yards per game, they averaged 172.
Mm.
If you can get over a bill 50, like you got
Yeah,
it, you got a chance of winning any game, man.
especially in the
Uh,
ACC, man.
Let me see. Passing, they averaged 282 a game.
Mm.
So they had a smooth balance
Yeah,
of run pass, man. And the crazy thing is that the running back that they had, Schrader,
yeah.
he came from a D2 school,
Mm-hmm.
so
Exactly. And it's the guy that's coming in, Marcus Carroll. He came from Georgia State, and there he ran for 1350, so
mm,
1,350 yards, had 13 touchdowns. Um, like he is going to be another weapon that they can help and reload this offense with.
yeah, that's the only thing, man. They lost some running backs. So,
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see, like you said, like you alluded to earlier, how they can manage to make this new team
Mhm.
fit, make this new team work. But when you have a quarterback that's played as many snaps as he's played, and you have a receiver that's the number one returning receiver, and you also have another weapon, with Theo Weiss,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
returning also, it can get real scary for whoever's lining up against them, the Missouri Tigers, man. But without further ado, man, let's break down this 2024 schedule.
Yes. All right. So opening up first week, Missouri has Murray State
Mm,
coming into town. Um,
Coach Ogle, Coach Ross, I love you, but Lord have mercy,
yeah, ugly
y'all.
quit.
They can spot y'all 20, and y'all still ain't gonna win that game,
Mm-mm. Yeah. So I think we both on the same path as far as that one. Next
bro.
week, go ahead.
You can just name off the first four if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, because that's really what it's gonna be. So week 2, they got Buffalo. Week 3, Boston College, and then week 4, Vandy.
And
Uh,
all of them at home.
yes, every last one of them at home. Uh, Dubs, getting the wheels greased and getting it ready for you know a little bit better competition. But in my opinion, 4 straight dubs at home, starting the year off right.
I honestly see 2 shutouts in those 4 victories.
Mm,
I see I see Missouri going into week because they have a bye week, week 5, but I see them going into Texas A&M in week 6 with the offense already having put up a total of 220 plus points. Defense might allow 28 total.
yeah, man, that's some big numbers. But I agree, man. I think this offense is gonna be electric, and they're gonna put up a lot of points. But like you said, that next week they got to bye. Then they go to Texas A&M, go into Kyle Field, and I've got Missouri in this one. First road test, first real SEC test. No shade to any Vandy fans, but first first real SEC test of the year, Texas A&M. But I got Missouri winning this one by 17.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that, man, because it's gonna be 11 a.m. kickoff in College Station.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Still a little too early for Texas A&M to really hit that groove and hit that stride under the new
Yes.
head coach.
Mm.
Missouri's too experienced, have too many weapons. Yeah, I know Kyle Field, 100 and whatever thousand, but it's not gonna matter in this one. You got an experienced quarterback, you got an experienced offense. When the fans need to be loud, it's not gonna matter because the offense is too experienced, too explosive. I'm actually going Missouri by 20.
Mm. To follow that one up, again, we got another road game, UMass. We can go ahead and skip past that one. And then they're back home. Missouri goes back home the following week, and they have the Auburn Tigers rolling in. So we got a little Tiger on Tiger action that week. I, as much as I like Hugh Freeze, as much as I like it, as we've referred to him, Hooker Hugh, he's that guy in certain aspects, and I really like him as a coach. I think Auburn's going to have a much better, much more successful year than they have in recent years under him. I don't see them pulling it off right here, though. I think Missouri's experience on offense, they're rolling right now. They've had enough time to get that defense exactly how they want it, and like I said, they got the wheels greased, and I think they're going to keep rolling.
I got this being an offensive shootout, but I'm gonna have to go with Auburn with this one. And the reason I'm
Mm.
saying that is because, as you mentioned, the
Mm-hmm.
new DC they have likes to be aggressive. Well, you can't be aggressive with Hugh because you're gonna get
True.
embarrassed and exposed. And if he tries to sit back and be conservative on defense, now you're asking your defensive players to do something different than what you've been
Right.
preaching since you took over in the spring.
That's true.
Um, they're not really adjusted to your thinking and your style yet because they haven't gone through a full. Everybody say, "Well, they had the spring and fall camp." That's different.
Yeah.
You haven't gone through a full season where somebody has actually game plan for you.
Mm.
And we all know Hugh. If you play conservative, it's enough motion, it's enough eye candy to have you 3 steps behind.
Yeah. He's going
If
to catch
you're
you slipping.
if you're too aggressive, you still gonna get caught with screens. You're gonna get caught with draws. You're gonna get caught with quick slants.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that made Laquan Treadwell the receiver he was in college, as we saw, it didn't translate over to the league, was
Right.
because of Hugh Freeze's offense.
Yeah.
So I think this would be an offensive shootout. This would be one of those 45-42s,
Mm-hmm.
uh, 42-48. But I just think Missouri defensively will have one too many busts that
Yeah.
will cost them. That will cost them the game.
Definitely gonna have to put a star by that one, man. I agree with you though. I think offensively, both teams are gonna be clicking.
Oh, it's gonna put some points. It's gonna be a game for TV. It's gonna be a game to watch for TV for sure.
Oh, most definitely. So things don't necessarily get any easier. The following week after that, they have to travel down to Alabama, to Tuscaloosa, um, and face the Crimson Tide of Alabama. I do not see Missouri being able to go in there and pull this one off. as you alluded to it, defensively. Even though I think they're still going to be a good defensive team and good defensive squad, I don't think they've got they don't have the pieces to take down a player and completely shut down a player like Jalen Milroe. Um, we all know it. He's a freak of nature. He's one heck of an athlete, and the things that he can do with his legs and his arm, and especially if his throwing motion and his mechanics have gotten better, like they've alluded to, he's just gonna be too much for him. So I see Alabama rolling in this one. I'm gonna say, but I am gonna say Missouri's offense is gonna be able to keep it closer. Make it look good. But I do think Bama's probably gonna take a 10-point win in this one.
Yeah, it'll be close first through the first three quarters. Missouri at the end of the day won't have enough depth on defense to keep up with the track stars that are on offense for
Yeah.
Alabama. I think Bama pull it off by 14 in the fourth.
Yeah. So moving right along after that, they've got another bye week. And then after that bye week, they're back at home. Oklahoma Sooners coming into Missouri. I think this is going to be a good bounce back game for Missouri. After, going into Tuscaloosa, after having Auburn come in, it's going to be, in my opinion, close game. I still got Missouri winning a tough one there, but then they go to Alabama. I think they're going to lose that one after, like you said, after keeping it close. So kind of an emotional letdown, because I think their expectations this year are still shooting for possible SEC championship, so I think a little emotional letdown. They got the bye week. They come back. I think it's going to be a good game for them. They're going to bounce back. And I got them beating Oklahoma by 13.
Oklahoma. I think Missouri kicks the last second field goal to win.
Ooh.
I just
think it'll be that close.
I think Oklahoma is gonna remind me of which SEC team can I refer to right here? I think they're gonna remind me of a Texas A&M when Johnny Football was there. They're always scrapping every game. I think they'll be scrappy enough every game. First year in the SEC, they won't have quite the talent that's needed to pull out some of these victories, but they'll be enough to scrap and claw. And then they have a fiery head coach who's gonna make sure that they at least fight to the end.
Yeah.
So I think Missouri will kick a field goal, last second field goal to win by 2 or 3.
Yeah, I can see that. So moving right along after that, they've got 2 away games. First one is at South Carolina. I got Mizzou in this one. I think the offensive power that they have is going to be pretty handy defeat, in my opinion.
I'm kind of up in the air about this one, man, because I think Beamer has been fired by now.
I agree with there.
You know what? I'm not up in there. I think the team shows some more fight, like most teams do when their head coach gets fired. But at the end of the day, the head coach got fired for a reason, and it wasn't always just the head coach's fault. Like sometimes y'all just don't have what it takes. So close. The first half would be close. If it was a 30-minute game, South Carolina would win, but you used to have to come out and play another 30 minutes.
That is true. So got to play that full 60. Next week, they travel down to Starkville, Mississippi, where they take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Gonna be a lot of clanger going on, but that clanger ain't gonna matter, man.
This is gonna be another offensive shootout.
It is.
We are talking week 11.
Yeah.
In the Levy offense.
Oh yeah, he's gonna put up some points now.
They clicking at this point, but
against that defense, he's gonna put up some points.
But that defense, Lord have mercy. I just until they show and prove something different, I just have zero faith in Mississippi State defense right now.
I agree.
So I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. As quick as both of these teams can score, shoot, this might be a this
It's
might be a 54
mm-hmm.
to 42. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of
Yeah,
those let's light the scoreboard. It's gonna be one of those somebody the state running out of fireworks or something, whatever they do after the touchdown.
yeah.
It's gonna be
It's
one of those.
yeah. I agree. It's
But I
gonna be a
st-
barn burner.
but I still believe, Missouri pulls out the victory.
Yeah, same here. Same here. And so then last week of the season, they come back home. They have Arkansas Razorbacks coming in, and again, same
Without
situation.
without
Huh?
Sam Pittman. Without Sam Pittman.
Exactly. I was going to say same situation in South Carolina. I think Pittman's gone. The pig suey done kicked him out the barn. He's gone. Um, and I just don't see Arkansas having what it takes to match up with this offense at all, man. It's not gonna happen. And it's gonna be a lot of points by Missouri. Probably not so much by Arkansas though.
Yeah, so at this point it's woo pig sewage by
Yeah,
this point of the season. Um Arkansas fans hate this game.
yeah.
It's been made into this rivalry. I know they have a big trophy for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why Arkansas hates this game so much is because they lose all the time. Like I think Missouri,
Yeah.
Missouri's beat them like 4 out of the last 5 or something like that, man. So it's not even a rivalry game. Like the head coach even
No.
said last year, like to be considered a rivalry game, like the other team got to win sometimes. Like
Bro, it's
that's
tough.
crazy,
Yeah. I mean, you look at last year, 48-14.
man. It was. I watched it. I watched the first half. Oh my god! If 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 Bake hadn't called off the defense in the second quarter,
Mm,
they might have put up 70. Like he went base defense from like the middle of the second quarter through the rest of the game.
that's crazy.
No, it was ugly, and it's gonna be uglier this year because
Yeah.
it's at Missouri this year. They definitely not calling the dogs off. So
No.
they gonna be trying to fight for them 12 spots, in
Mm,
the playoffs, man. So what we
yeah.
got them sitting at
Let's
was it
see.
10-2, 9-2, 10-2,
You got them
4.
3, 4.
I got them catching 2 L's.
Yeah. So you got them 10-2. I got them 11-1, finishing up the regular season 11-1,
So
which
you saying that puts them?
makes things interesting now. And this is what I wanted to get to. This is one of the things I wanted to point out with this one, man. Way the SEC is structured this year. No East, no West. You got a lot of teams. And looking at it, there are quite a few teams that can go to the end of the season with just one loss.
Who you looking at?
So I'm thinking, all right, so I'm thinking Missouri.
Okay.
I'm thinking there's a possibility Ole Miss could go just one loss. I
Okay.
can see them going 2, but there's a possibility. There's also a possibility LSU, even though I got them going 12-0, they can go with one loss. Okay. And as much as I hate to say it, because it's not what I picked, it's not how I had them, but shoot, man, you look at a team like Alabama. They could still pull it off and go, with one loss. Georgia could possibly have one loss. We can keep going and keep going. Texas could potentially have one loss. So you got 6,
That's
7
six.
teams.
That's 6 schools right there.
Yeah. So that's 6 teams right there that off the top of my head I can think of that could possibly end the season with just one SEC loss, and some of them, most of them, not even playing head to head. So
Ooh.
that then brings another situation into who do you choose? How do you choose the 2 teams to go to the
But see,
SEC tournament?
that's why I and a lot of these breakdown and previews we've been doing. That's why I've been saying like I don't think coach is gonna be calling the dogs off because you
Yeah,
need them points.
you
You
gotta have.
listen, backups, red shirts. I feel you, but y'all
Not
might
this
well
year.
go and jump in the portal because some of y'all can be upset.
Yes,
Like, some of y'all can be upset.
because if that's the metric they're going to use is the
Point
points.
differential
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
ranking and all that.
You gotta blow people out. You can't call the dogs off. We're gonna have ones in there throughout the whole game.
Mm,
And that's crazy. But that's crazy when you think about it. It's like you can have six, you may even have more than 6 teams in the SEC all fighting for a spot in the championship game at the end of the year. And then what's it gonna come down to? Is it gonna come down to points? Is it gonna come down to non-conference wins and the like power of power of the schedule, stuff like that? Well, it'll be interesting, man. It could shape up to be pretty crazy at the end of the season for the SEC.
yeah, for sure. Hey, so speaking of shaping of the SEC,
Mhm.
and for the topic of the night, it just came to my head. I ain't know if you had nothing different or not,
Go ahead.
uh, but it just came to my head. Man, I was reading something on Twitter earlier about some reports. What's your thoughts? This ain't got nothing to do with SEC, but what are your thoughts, man, on Clemson and Florida State trying to leave the ACC? I know they were trying to talk to the SEC about getting in, and also the Big Ten about getting in.
Yeah.
What's your uh, how you feel about that, man? Let's just say Clemson and Florida State, for whatever reason, the SEC say, yeah, come on, we'll take you.
Oh,
What does that look like for those two teams and for the SEC as a whole?
I'll say this for those two teams specifically, um, it's gonna get ugly. And you having week to week having to play SEC football teams week to week. And yes, Florida State finished, had a great finish last year, whatever, this, that, and the other, have some great talent, but it's not gonna be long lived, in my opinion. Um, I I just don't see them being able to go into a conference like the SEC and win it and be as dominant as they have been in the ACC, especially not Clemson. Clemson's been on the downfall for a while now. I know they got the win over Kentucky or whatever in the bowl game, barely.
Kentucky.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about Kentucky. We're not talking about Alabama. We're not talking about an Ole Miss team right now, the way they play. We're not talking about LSU. We're not talking about, excuse me, even Auburn once they make the steps that I think they're going to make. This Missouri team, Georgia, and even now Texas. Like, come on, man. Like, it's. I think it would be foolish on their part to try to jump in the SEC. I think they're looking at it from a standpoint, probably from a standpoint of revenue, um, because I couldn't blame them there. I think the SEC is probably one of the top grossing, conferences. They're one of the best conferences or the best conference in college football. So they're going just being an SEC school is going to get you looked at a lot more as far as these TV games and stuff like that. It's probably going to be watched a lot more. So it would bring in more revenue. But from a practical standpoint of just the competition, it does not benefit them. And I don't think it benefits the SEC to keep adding more and more teams either, because like we just said, you already possibly could run into a situation where you got 6 teams fighting and viable for the SEC championship.
But they don't. They wouldn't. Those two schools wouldn't throw a wrench in that, man. Like it's not
That
like
is
it's
true.
not. It's not like it's gonna go 7 to 8.
Yeah,
Because like you just said, Florida State, yes, they had a older driven team. Now they're breaking in a whole new quarterback, running
exactly.
back gone, top 2 receivers gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They lost a lot on defense. Like
Yes.
they lost to the portal. So it's not.
Very senior heavy.
Yeah, it's not. They wouldn't do what everybody think they would do. Like I don't know why everybody looks at the SEC and be like, "Oh, these teams ain't that good because look at their records." Like, bro, they look who they playing every week.
Exactly.
Like half the SEC is always ranked in the top 25
Mhm. But
every year.
like we said, Clemson barely beat a Kentucky team.
Bro, what Clemson
Who-
problem is Dabo got to get off this same pedestal we was talking about yesterday. This
Yeah.
high horse he on. Like he don't even want to use the transfer portal, bro. How you gonna survive?
All right. The scope, the landscape of college football has completely transformed. You have to use
Which is why he's
transfer
looked
portal.
like dumpster juice the past 3 years.
Yeah. That's putting it lightly too.
Like you cannot be stubborn. As much as Nick Saban hated it, he played the game as long as he could until it just
Yeah.
became too much. And Dabo has stuck in his ways. Like, bro, we get it. You won the national championship or two or however many you won.
Mhm.
But you
College
gonna mess
football was
around.
good.
You gonna mess around and get yourself fired.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, even talking about the portal, like you look at guys like Kiffin who have openly they have spoken out against it. They don't really like it, but they use it.
You got
And they're
to.
you because they know you have to because that's where college football is. It's not like the old days years ago where you could have a great recruit. You had to have a great recruiting class as far as young guys in the high school. High school,
But
bring them up, develop them. You can go get whoever from right now.
but that's also the difference between the SEC and the ACC, like where they
That's
are.
true.
Like,
Yeah,
bro, you gotta win. Like, you getting the money. Like, you gotta win. As tough as it is, like
yeah,
you gotta bring the players in because you gotta win. Over
yeah,
at the ACC, every year we already know who's gonna win. It's
yeah.
either Clemson or the past 2 years it's been like Florida State. Like, that's
Right.
what it's gonna be.
Because what you
And
got?
it,
Duke, North Carolina, Wake Forest. I mean, come on, who
bro, I
like
don't
you said,
even I don't even watch the ACC championship game because it's
no,
always trash. Like, it's always Florida State or Clemson against Boston College
yeah,
or North Carolina State or Louisville this year. Like, come on, dog. Like, that's not nothing to watch. Like,
no,
Louisville lost to Florida State and Florida State couldn't even throw the ball.
exactly.
That
Yeah,
man couldn't throw 10 yards.
no, not at all, man.
Probably didn't complete a ball in warm-ups. And y'all lost to them. So it's just like, nah, man, I'm good, man. Like, leave the SEC alone. We got enough. You let in Texas, Oklahoma. Texas, cool. Oklahoma, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how
No.
they do.
Oh, speaking of Texas, I know I meant to ask you this. Did you hear the comments Nick Saban made about Texas at the media day?
Yes, I did, and I loved it. I love it, man.
Nick
I,
Saban said Texas has run the Big 12 for years.
but they will not.
They not gonna run nothing in the SEC.
Mm-mm.
How you feel about it, man?
But I ain't gonna lie, I love it just because. And this I had a conversation with some of the coaches, and I think it's an innate ability and within coaches and just a trait, a characteristic that you have to have as a coach. You gotta be able to talk it. And so I'm not gonna say exactly what I want to say, but you gotta be able to talk. And I love that type of stuff, man. I think it's gonna bring a lot of hype to the games. I think Texas is gonna have some success, but I agree with him. I don't think it's gonna be hands down. Oh, it's Texas every year. Texas every year. Nah, that ain't gonna be it. It's not even gonna be Texas or Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? So they're in for a rude awakening as far as what SEC football is all about. And I will say this too, kind of piggybacking off of that. I also saw the rules. I don't know. You probably saw this too. The rules committee.
I was about to say something about that too. I was about to say something about that too.
This will not be a penalty, and
So,
it's gonna get crazy, man.
but this is my thing. Yeah, it's gonna get crazy, but this is my whole thing.
Good.
Like, I never understand. I was asking people over here,
Mhm.
why is the horns down? Why does that make y'all so emotional?
That's a good question.
Like, y'all talk crazy. Y'all, when Texas played LSU, the
Mm.
college game day, they took a
Mhm.
Burrow jersey and shot a cannon through it.
Yeah,
But you
but
mad
this
that
gets
somebody
them
do
upset.
horns down? Man, look, it is what it is. Throw the flag. I don't care. But it ain't no flag this year unless it's taunting, unless you do it in somebody's face.
Yes. And speaking of that game, still one of my favorite college football games of all time. That LSU Texas game.
Oh yeah, that game was fire.
Yeah.
It was hot, but that game was fire.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, man. But man, another good episode, man. Another good episode. Appreciate Mr. Ricky Gonzalez of Fordham University.
Yeah. Be on the
Uh,
lookout for him.
yes, sir. We'll definitely be on the lookout for him. A couple of his teammates, man. Show support. Got to get
Mhm.
him some merch. Got to get him some merch sent up there, man. But man, you want to take us out, Matt?
Yeah, man. Speaking of support, like we talk about all the time, man. Coach Jerry Marion, we've had him on, gonna have him on again. Great young guy that we both know, trying to do some great things with the kids out in Plantersville, Mississippi. Middle school basketball coach. And this is a community. This is a group of kids that, they need to be loved on. They need to be supported. They're at that age where they're actually still having fun with sports, and that's the age where I think if that's taken away, a lot of kids turn away from sports. So we want to really show them love, show them some support, and you can do that as well. You can contact Jerry. Again, he's basketball coach, middle school basketball coach of the Plantersville Pirates. You can reach him. His phone number is 662-213-4202. Email is jerry.marion@leecountyschools.us. So reach out to him, whether it's a business or you just personally want to give, church, whatever it may be, and see how you can help this guy out and help these kids out as well.
Yes, sir. Here over here at TWTC, man, we always looking forward to helping the youth, man. So if you know of
Mm.
anybody or you might have an organization or whatever that we can help spread the word to just try to get some traction and some
Yes.
motion going to help support the youth, man, help support the kids. Just love on the kids and show them that some people care. We'll also help support or do whatever we can personally. But don't just reach out to us, hit us up. All of our social media pages and everything will be tagged in all of the YouTube videos. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, like, share, subscribe. Reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't be sending your personal cash app talking about I need this, I need that, I need the third.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a legit situation, a legit sponsorship helping them to use some kind of youth organization. Might be a youth team, might be the
Mm-hmm.
local church team, it might be, Boys and Girls Club or whatever it might be, something along those lines to where the kids are really needing it.
Yes.
Let's not try to take advantage of people, and let's actually give and pour into the kids where they really need the help. They really need, the support. They really need the sponsorships so that they can live out their goals and their future. Like Matt said, man, we don't want to turn them away. It's the only thing, some of these kids that's away from the, sports or the streets. And
Mm-hmm.
once they lost to the streets,
Ain't no coming back.
you probably not getting them back, man. So let's make sure we support the youth in the best way that we can, man. But until next time, man, you heard what we said, and we out.